The first markings of welfare in America can be traced back to the colonies, when the British Poor Laws were implemented. The laws made a distinction between those who were unable to work due to their age or physical health and those who were able-bodied but unemployed. Much later in time, towards the end of the 1920s, the United States boasted the title of the largest economy in the world, while the devastation wrought on by World War I caused by the European nations to struggle. President Herbert Hoover even went so far as to proclaim that the end of American poverty was nigh. However, in this moment of triumph, everything began falling apart. The stock market crash of 1929 sent shock waves across the country and plunged the United States into its longest and deepest economic crisis. Banks closed, businesses failed, and over 60% of households were living in poverty through no fault of their own. During the Great Depression, local and state governments, as well as private charities, were overwhelmed by the amount of families seeking food, clothing, and shelter. With many families suffering financial difficulties, the government stepped in to solve the problem, and that is where the history of welfare as we know it really began. A number of government agencies were created to oversee the welfare programs. Some of these agencies that deal with welfare in the United States are the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Department of Labor, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Education. Welfare history continued to be made in 1996. President Bill Clinton signed the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act. Under the act, the federal government gives annual lump sums to the states to use to assist the poor. In turn, the states must adhere to certain criteria to ensure that those receiving aid are being encouraged to move from welfare to work. Though some have criticized the program, many acknowledge it has been successful.
Today, welfare encompasses government programs designed to help and assist those with little to no income. This money is usually acquired from American taxpayers from the working class. Welfare is also extended to those such as elderly, the disabled, students, and unpaid workers such as mothers and caregivers.
For almost all welfare programs, applicants must complete an application form. This form will determine whether the applicant meets the requirements needed to be on welfare programs. Since one of the goals of U.S. welfare is to help individuals and families break the cycle of dependency on welfare, educational assistance helps individuals obtain a better job. This was the vision of the welfare system.
In reality, welfare does not reach those who need the most help. Instead, it reaches those who abuse and take advantage of welfare benefits.
I'll get you, money man Mike!
Well, my welfare check came in. Think I'm gonna be okay this week.
This type of abuse happens whenever a person lies about their marital status, financial need, living situation, or earnings. Welfare fraud in America has been an issue that has been around since welfare was first established. Now, it costs taxpayers billions and billions of dollars annually due to improper payments. Improper payments are
Whenever funds go to the wrong people, the correct person gets too much or too little in welfare, there are not enough correct documents to make payments, or when a person uses their welfare money wrongly.
Currently, there are no interest groups that believe that welfare reformation should be stopped, but there are some individuals who believe that instead of having welfare reformation, we should stop it altogether. They believe that welfare encourages people to be unemployed and live off the money that they receive. However, taking away welfare from those who truly need it would be unjust. Studies have shown that in countries with welfare, people do much better than in those without welfare. Yet the United States devotes roughly $10.3 trillion to the welfare budget. Of that $10.3 trillion, $59.6 billion is spent on improper payments. The Office of Management and Bureau say that of the 13 top programs of the federal government that have a lot of spending problems, 7 of those are welfare programs. This loss in taxpayer money is devastating to not only taxpayers, but also to innocent welfare recipients who really need the money, but as a result of fraud, don't get anything. If no one stops welfare fraud, the problem will continue to get out of hand and money will continue to be lost. To help stop this program, we need the federal government to step in, specifically the executive branch, since they are the ones in charge of all the programs offered. Although distribution varies from state to state, the federal government is the one in charge of giving out funds.
Since the federal government is responsible for giving out grants to the welfare program, it should be their job to make sure that there are tighter and stronger rules to assure that the system is not abused. Additionally, since it is the taxpayers paying for these grants, the federal government should also ensure that the money is being spent for the original purpose.
Currently, there are some things being done by the federal government to try and stop welfare fraud. For starters, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families requires that all welfare recipients become employed within the first 2 years of receiving help. After those 2 years, if the recipient has failed to become employed, all their welfare benefits will be revoked. For those who are found committing fraud, they will be charged depending on how much money they receive during their time of crime. Some consequences include up to 5 years in jail. They are also required to repay all the money they received, and future welfare requests will be denied. For immigrants, being convicted of welfare fraud can mean that they will have difficulty in applying for citizenship. In California, extra measurements have been taken. For example, they enforce house visits in which they investigate and make sure that everything in the application is correct.
In order to combat welfare fraud, we plan to implement methods that include random house visits no matter what state you live in.
Oh dear Lord. What you want?
Hello, it's me.
From the welfare program,
And, okay.
I came to do the random house visits to check that everything on your application was correct.
I guess. Come in.
Okay, well, this inspection won't take too long. We will be done shortly.
Okay, because I got bills to pay and kids to feed. So, walk around.
One hour later.
Okay, thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Fraud reports will be taken more seriously and made more accessible to the public.
Hello? Welfare fraud investigators, how can we help? I'd like to report my neighbor, Money Man Mike, for welfare fraud. How exactly can I go about doing that? Well, you can go online and there's a short form you can fill out. It would only take a couple seconds. And you can mail it over after. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, good day, my good sir. Good day to you too. Goodbye.
Small rewards will be given to those who report legitimate instances of fraud.
The coast is clear. Money Man Mac, we're gonna get you now.
I love me some welfare money. Who dat? Who dat? Is that more welfare money? Open up, open up!
We're here for you, Money Man Mike.
Yeah, I'm coming, I'm coming.
Well, hurry up. It's the police here, right?
You are under arrest for welfare fraud.
About time.
There are many instances of individuals receiving more benefits than needed. Individuals should only be entitled to the usage of benefits which are more immediately required. The executive branch should address the welfare issue, and Congress will need to impose laws requiring the welfare system to impose a more thorough background check on the people who apply so that there is less corruption. Laws like these already exist, but only in some states, and they are not all enforced strongly. If Congress fails to address these issues, then the President could use his executive power to do so. The judiciary could help this process by ensuring that laws are passed and that they are constitutional.
So what happens when interest groups and governments start working together to help stop welfare fraud? Well, things change. Small changes begin at first, as it will take a long time to change such a large portion of government. Small changes will be implemented at first, but enforcing house checks on individuals will require a task force, which needs at least 3 years of training to implement.
So let's build a wall and trump welfare together.